Hi, welcome to the College for Every Student live chat. I'm Elaine Dixon-Cross, the College and Career Ambassador at CFES. I'm joined today by Nilvio Perez, Associate Director of Admissions at Central Connecticut State University, joining us with over 14 years of experience. Nilvio will be talking about financial aid and the FAFSA application process. During the live presentation, you can participate by posting your questions and comments in the chat window, and we'll ask Nilvio for you.
Hello, everyone. Financial aid tends to be a very boring subject, so I'm going to try to make it as enjoyable as possible and also informative. I thought I would begin with some of the changes that occurred from the federal government to the current FAFSA application. And FAFSA, for some of you who may not know, stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So that's the acronym FAFSA, which we tend to say a lot in our admission jargon. One of the biggest changes this year is something that we know as prior. And I always joke about where the name came from. I don't think many people, when they were coming up with this, talk to any journalism or English students, because prior doesn't really seem like, it's not very intuitive of what it means. But really what prior is saying is that for FAFSA purposes, for your financial aid, we are using the tax information prior to the start of your senior year. So if you are entering your freshman year next fall 2017, your junior year, 2015, tax information will be used on the FAFSA form. So that's where the prior comes from. So it is the financial information prior to the start of your incoming freshman year. And this is a change not just for new incoming students, it's a change for all students, continuing, returning, and new students alike. So each year a student moves from freshman to sophomore, you have to look 2 years back for your financial information. That's the information that's going to go on the FAFSA application. The main reason why this was done is to try to move up the financial aid application opening. In prior years, January 1st of the student's senior year was the first opportunity for someone to apply for financial aid. This year, it was moved up 3 months to October 1st. Again, because of the fact that they're using information from a previous year, they were able to move up the financial aid application opening, which hopefully results into students receiving their award letters earlier. That was impossible in years prior because of the fact that if you were applying for fall 2017, or fall 2016, I should say, we needed your 2015 tax information, which was due to the federal government in April. So some families didn't do that as quickly as other families. So students would get either a preliminary financial aid award letter or no financial aid award letter until the middle of March or early April. The national deadline to decide on what school you're going to, agreed by NACAC, our association, National Association for Admission Counseling, is May 1st. So that only gave most families at most 6 or 7 weeks to kind of make a realistic decision on what school might be the most affordable for them. With this new model and going forward, most students will be able to receive their award letter hopefully middle of January, which gives them several months to make that decision. One very important note, however, you can't receive an award letter until you've been officially admitted to the university. So although many students may have completed their FAFSA forms in October, they won't receive an award letter until they receive an admission decision. And what most schools, especially a lot of the private universities, have decided to do is to send the award letter with the acceptance letter. That way, everything comes in one package. Again, every university is not going to have the same policy or procedure. So some schools may send their acceptance letters first, and then a couple of weeks later their award letters. So just be patient when that comes in. But the goal of changing the FAFSA, yes, I'm sorry, Elaine.
Sorry, Nilvio, can I interrupt? So you don't have to say I'm going to this college or university. You can understand what your financial aid package will be before you actually admit. It's just an acceptance letter that they have to get first?
Correct. So thank you, Elaine. So it's not accepting the financial aid award letter. It is legitimately being admitted into the university. So until you are admitted into the university, that does not mean that you've submitted an application or you've sent everything to the university. You have to receive a letter in the mail or via email that says you have been officially admitted into the class of either that start year or that graduation year. So until you have that notice of that, financial aid won't be able to do anything.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Can I follow up?
Yes.
Can I follow up on prior?
Yes.
So now they're using prior means the year before, and that's allowing a 5-month. Basically, they're getting their award letter 5 months sooner because of the prior.
Ideally, that's the way. And I think most universities will get there. This year might be a little tricky. Some institutions may not be as prepared as other institutions in having those award letters go out. But I think over the next couple of years, most universities will have their award letters out the door by January.
Great. That'll really help families.
It will. And that is the point of it all. There's a lot of other things that go along to that, which I'll touch upon a little bit later on when I get to the award letter. But that is the point. So if you can't remember what year, just think of the year that you probably took your first SAT. That year is the year that you're going to use your financial aid information for college for your freshman year. So if you think of it kind of that way, it might help you out. But always talk to your counselors or a financial aid official or an admission person who can kind of help you with that a little bit more. And FAFSA has done a great job with they have a feature where you can just click on a button and all your tax information called your W-9 or 1040 tax retrieval option. If you do that, it'll do all the work for you. So you don't have to go to your personal accountant or try to find if you do your own taxes, all your PDFs of all your tax information. You don't have to do all of that if you can just use the lead retrieval button or option that's in the FAFSA. Now, very important also with your award letter, because I know we probably have a lot of seniors who are listening to this. When you receive your award letter, you are able to accept the awards that are grants, loans, or work study without any penalty. So you can accept your financial aid award letter for 5 different universities. It doesn't mean that you're going to those schools. What it does is it ensures that the money that they offered you will be there if you do decide to go to that school. So it's very important to know that you shouldn't wait to return any financial aid, especially if it's grant money. So grant money, there are monies that students have qualified for. 99% of grants, it's financially qualified for. That's free money that an institution is giving you. Those monies do have an expiration date. Not all of them, but some of them do. So if you don't return your financial aid award letter in the appropriate time that the university wants you to return it, you might forfeit that money. Even though it was offered to you in January, it may not be there for August. So those are some things. And again, grant money is free money, so you don't have to pay it back. You've qualified for it. So the only way someone can take it away is if you don't meet the deadline in terms of notifying financial aid that you're taking that money. And the reason the money gets taken away is because all financial aid offices over award their budget. So if they only have $2 million to give, they typically give $4 or $5 million because not every student that's admitted is going to go to that university. So if they don't have a mechanism in which students have to respond by a certain date, they will be in jeopardy of really hurting the institution with over budgeting their financial aid, which might take away from other programming that the university wants to do, whether it's study abroad scholarships, transportation for bus trips, additional programming, research opportunities, whatever it may be, will have to come from those budgets to supplement the over awarding of financial aid packages. The other aspect in terms of financial aid is work study. And work study is a federal program that students, again, have to financially qualify for. However, work study is set up in such a manner where really you're a student first. So you're not going to work more than 10 hours a week. You're getting paid the state's minimum wage, whichever state the university is in, not your home state. And most of those students can use it toward miscellaneous costs that students don't think about. So books, travel expenses if you want to go home, bus trip, snack money, meal money. So, maybe you're a commuter student and you need to put money, gas money, or a tire blew out. So those are the kind of the things that a lot of students are using it for. There is a small population of students who are using their work study money to pay toward their tuition. So that can be done as well. Then there's also on-campus jobs. Yes, do you have a question, Elaine?
I interrupt. We do have a question. Do I get the money from work study directly?
Yes. So every university will have they'll give the student the option of either receiving a check or a direct deposit, or signing the money over to the bursar's office or the billing office. So the student makes that choice. As I mentioned, the vast majority of students are taking that money so that they can have it in their pocket for whatever reasons they want to use it for. So it is a job in which you can use that money for things that may not be related to school. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you,
Okay,
Nilvio.
perfect. And then, but there's also on or off-campus job opportunities that are not work study. Many times students think, oh, well, work study wasn't on my financial aid award letter, so I can't work on campus. Or this happens a lot more often than the first. They receive a work study award. However, there's no more work study jobs on the campus because returning students and some students who arrived early have taken those jobs. So work study is not a guaranteed position. It is a position that is available as long as there's work study jobs on the campus at the time you're in school. So off-campus or other non-work study or non-federal work study on-campus jobs is a great way to kind of have some extra money throughout the course of the semester. Many departments don't want freshmen working in their departments for various reasons, but there are a lot of job opportunities. So working in a bookstore, especially if you have sales background, working with the athletic center. There are a lot of people who sit at the front desk and they check people in, or at the library. So there's a lot of different opportunities that students don't think about their first couple of weeks while they're on campus that I would encourage you to do once you get there. And then, of course, you know, the word that nobody wants to hear, the loans. So on your award letter, there will be 3 different types of loans. The first would be an unsubsidized loan. So an unsubsidized loan is a loan in which the interest is being occurred during your school years, during your 4 years. So that is kind of the most broad type because there's no eligibility requirement other than that you're a full-time student and you're under the age of 25 years old in order to get that loan. The subsidized loan, that is the better of the 2 loans. The subsidized loan means that the government is paying for your interest while you're a full-time student pursuing a bachelor degree and at sometimes pursuing a graduate degree as well. But the subsidized loan really helps manage your loan debt because when you graduate, you only own the principal of the loan. So if you took out $8,000 over the course of 4 years, the day after you graduate, you owe $8,000. Now, the interest will continue and the government will stop paying for it after that first month. So if you manage your money really well while you're in school and you did take out a subsidized loan, you should be able to pay back fairly quickly without having that interest really take off on you. And then the third option is what's called a Parent Plus loan. And some financial aid award letters are pretty deceiving with the Parent Plus. The Parent Plus loan is a loan in which parents have to qualify for the amount. So you may see an award letter where you have a $10,000 Parent Plus loan added to your financial aid award letter. Your parent still has to go through a credit check and be credit worthy to take out that or to borrow that $10,000 in their name. Not every parent is credit worthy to take out that much money. So my advice is, if that's on your award letter, bring it to your school counselor immediately, call the financial aid office with your school counselor, and get a better explanation of not only the Parent Plus loan as an option, but what happens if my parent or guardian either doesn't want the Parent Plus or doesn't qualify for the Parent Plus. And then hopefully, and I know you are because you guys are very active, everyone should be looking for scholarships. And if there are any younger students, please, please, please start now looking and researching for scholarships. I think the last statistics I read a couple of months ago was there were over $18 million in scholarships not awarded last semester. That was spring 2016. So that's a lot of money. So if you're out there listening, immediately when this is done, go on a web search and type in scholarship searches. All credible scholarships, there's no fee. So if you're on a scholarship page and it wants you to send a $20 processing fee, that is a scholarship scam. You can X out of that website and try another one. All legitimate ones will not require an application or processing fee. The bigger the amount, the more work you're going to have to do for the scholarship. But my biggest advice for students researching scholarship is not to look at the amount, but to look at the qualifications. Because if you earn 6 or 7 $1,000 scholarships, that $6,000 or $7,000 may replace one of your loans that you had. Therefore, you're graduating with no loan debt. So if you think of it that way, that might help you also plan for your finances for college. And then the very last thing I wanted to just kind of mention is to stay in constant communication with your parents or your guardians, because although most students when they go away to college are 18, and although most of them are protected by FERPA, well, all of them are protected by FERPA, which means that universities are not allowed to provide the student's information without the student's permission. You almost 100% of the time need a parent or a guardian to fill out financial aid paperwork. So if you're in constant conversation with them about a particular university that you may be interested in, the cost, how much you guys can pay out of pocket, how much you're comfortable borrowing, if you're having these conversations now, when April comes closer to May 1st and you're making that decision, you know, you're not going to have your heart broken because you're not going to the school that you really wanted to go to because of finances. So start having these conversations early. Can you still hear me? Okay, sorry, a little thing popped up. But also include your admission professionals, your financial aid professionals, your school counselors, your CFES counselors, as many adults who have gone through the process and who works with the process as possible to really help guide you and your family during these next couple of months. And you can also text them as well, because I know a lot of you guys, the millennial generation, you like to text, you like to Instagram, maybe create a YouTube video. However you want to communicate with your parents, do it.
Thank you, Nilvio. We also have a couple more questions that have come in. At Central Connecticut State, what's the average amount of financial aid awarded?
Oh, great question. So at Central, we are a state university. So we have two different tuition costs for in-state students and for out-of-state students. So our in-state students, the tuition is roughly $9,800 for the year. And you're living on campus is about $21,000. And then for an out-of-state student, the cost is about $34,000 for tuition, room, board, and fees. So the average award was about $14,900 last year in financial aid. And then our average student debt is about $16,000 over the course of 4 years. So a lot of our students are getting opportunities to get free money, grants and scholarships, or earned money, I should say, instead of having to take out huge loans.
Great, thank you. Another question, can you negotiate the package that you receive from a school?
Are we being recorded?
Maybe.
Yes. So ideally the way it should work is that the first award letter is the best award letter. However, it doesn't always work that way for a lot of different circumstances. One of those I mentioned earlier, in which universities are over awarding what they actually have in their budget. So they're going to be a little bit more cautious when sending out award letters, simply because of the fact that they don't want to over award. However, by all means, if it is your goal to go to a particular university, you should make an appointment with your financial aid counselor. You should make an appointment to come in and sit down and say, you know, I need to understand this package a little better. Can you explain each award? What do I have to do in order to keep these awards from year to year? Is this a one-time scholarship that I'm getting? Is it a recurring scholarship? You want to plan for over the course of the 4 years. And then if it's not enough, most financial aid offices have an appeals process in which you can document something, usually via email or mailed, and explain the gap, explain what you need, and explain why you think that particular school is the best school. What I would advise against is doing this for every school. So most students have a dream school or two, you know, two schools that they're like, I just love. If it's one of those two schools, yes. Should you appeal 10 financial aid award letters? Probably not. I would say definitely not. I would say, you know, for that one school, that one or two schools that you really, really want to go to, go ahead, make the appointment, do the appeals process, but be very accurate in your appeal. The negotiation is not going to be a back and forth. It's not going to be kind of like you're negotiating your salary or buying your first home. You're not going back and forth with the other person. You need to make a case of why you want to go to that university and why you think that university you will be a value asset to that university. And then you need to put down exactly to the dollar the amount that you need. Because if you get that amount and it's not enough, you're not going to go back and say, well, can you give me another 1,000? Because that financial aid counselor is going to say, no, you know, you asked for this, we were able to do it. Here's your final offer. So be very cautious. It is not an ongoing negotiation. It is what we refer to as an appeal process, but it's a one-time appeal process. And make friends with, like, you know, deans of financial aid and VPs and higher ups. Obviously, have a good working relationship with the counselors and assistant directors, associate directors. But if you're at an open house and a dean makes a speech, like the dean of financial aid or the vice president of enrollment makes a speech, go to that person, introduce yourself, tell them why you want to go to that school, tell them who you are. Don't harass them, but, you know, make an impression. Because sometimes that, you know, when you're making tough decisions on who's going to get what money, you know, they may say, oh, I remember that student. I remember meeting that student. you know, those little kind of soft skills and touches can really go a long way. So do not be afraid to advocate for yourself, and don't be afraid to introduce yourself, especially in a large setting.
Great. Thank you, Nilvio. So many great tips today. I learned a lot more too. I haven't been in school in a long time. So thanks so much for doing our first live chat. Thank you to everyone that tuned in today. A recording of this live chat will be available on our website. And remember to join us for our next live chat on January 20th, Essential Skills for Thriving in College and Career at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.